Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the lion sleeps. Zlatan didn't retire quietly, he went out roaring. At 41, after dominating across Sweden, Italy, Spain, France, England, and the US, the self-proclaimed god finally said goodbye at AC Milan in 2023. His knees were broken, but his ego still indestructible. This was the man who scored bicycle kicks for fun, declared himself immortal, and once said he couldn't help but buy his wife a present because he was the present. He fought defenders, fought teammates, even fought managers, and still he left every club with silverware. Zlatan built a career out of impossible goals and even more impossible quotes. He didn't just play football, he turned it into mythology. From Ajax wonderkid to PSG record breaker, from his kung fu kicks at LA Galaxy to his late renaissance at Milan, he was proof that charisma can be as deadly as finishing. Even his farewell was pure Zlatan. After Milan's last home game, he took the mic in front of 70,000 fans and simply said, "It's time to say goodbye to football, but not to you." The stadium wept, he smiled. Football lost a striker. The meme world lost its greatest philosopher. Gareth Bale, golf, Wales, Madrid. Bale was the ultimate big game player. Champions League finals, Copa del Rey runs, free kicks at Euros. He delivered when it mattered. At Real Madrid, he scored in 2 Champions League finals, including that outrageous overhead kick against Liverpool. He outran Marc Bartra in the Copa del Rey like a sprinter on turbo mode. And for Wales, he carried a nation, dragging them to the semi-finals of Euro 2016 and the World Cup in 2022. But his story was complicated. Injuries piled up, Madrid fans booed him, and his relationship with the club became toxic. The famous banner summed it up: Wales, golf, Madrid, in that order. By 33, he shocked the world by retiring. A short MLS adventure, but no return home for one last payday, just golf, family, and peace. From Cardiff to the Bernabeu, he'll always be remembered as the man who scored the greatest Champions League final goal in history. Mesut Ozil, the magician fades. Few players made football look as effortless as Mesut Ozil. At Real Madrid, he was Cristiano Ronaldo's favorite supplier, creating chances out of thin air. At Arsenal, he became the king of creativity, turning the Premier League into his personal playground. But artistry doesn't last forever. By his 30s, the magic faded. He fell out with managers, struggled with fitness, and clashed with politics both on and off the pitch. Arsenal froze him out, Fenerbahce couldn't revive him, and by 2023, he retired at just 34. Ozil's left foot was a paintbrush. He made assists look like art, but modern football stopped valuing painters. In a world of pressing and data, Ozil became an antique. Even his goodbye was poetic. He wrote, "It's time to leave football, but I will always be grateful for the magic." He was one of the last true playmakers, an artist in a game that increasingly forgot how to value them. Sergio Aguero, forced goodbye. Aguero didn't retire because he wanted to. He retired because he had to. After leaving Manchester City as their all-time top scorer, he finally got his dream move to Barcelona. But after just 5 games, he collapsed on the pitch, clutching his chest. Doctors discovered a heart condition. At 33, his career was over. Aguero left football in tears. He still had goals left in him, lots of them, but destiny closed the book early. Even Pep Guardiola broke down when speaking about him, calling him irreplaceable. He gave us one of the most iconic goals in Premier League history, a single strike that will live forever. The saddest part, we'll never know how many more he could have scored. Gerard Piqué, from Barca royalty to goodbye Camp Nou. Piqué was Barcelona, Champions League winner, World Cup winner, captain of an empire. He wasn't just part of Pep Guardiola's tiki-taka revolution, he embodied it. But football doesn't let even royalty stay forever. By 2022, his form slipped, his private life dominated headlines, and the whispers grew louder. Instead of clinging on, he shocked everyone. He retired mid-season. His farewell at Camp Nou was emotional, raw, and heartbreaking. Tears streamed, fans chanted, teammates embraced him. It felt like the final curtain call for an entire era. Piqué wasn't just a defender, he was part of Barcelona's DNA. His goodbye felt like the end of tiki-taka itself. Bastian Schweinsteiger, the German warrior. Schweinsteiger was the beating heart of Germany's 2014 World Cup triumph. Bloodied, exhausted, and still sprinting, he symbolized sacrifice. That final against Argentina wasn't just won by goals, it was won by Schweinsteiger's sheer willpower. At Bayern, he was a warrior, anchoring one of Europe's greatest midfields. At Manchester United, he had flashes of class but arrived too late. He ended quietly in MLS with Chicago Fire before retiring in 2019. Not many midfielders leave a mark as deep. For Germany, he was more than a player. He was a soldier in boots. Few retire with such respect. Schweinsteiger did. Arjen Robben, one trick, endless pain. Everyone knew Robben was going to cut inside on his left foot. Nobody could stop it. At Chelsea, Real Madrid, and especially Bayern Munich, he tormented defenders with that one move. Over and over, same trick, same outcome. Goal. But injuries turned his career into a stop-start saga. Every comeback was followed by another setback. He retired in 2019, came back in 2020 for one last dance at Groningen, then finally stopped in 2021. He admitted he returned just to inspire his son, who wanted to see him play live. It was short, but pure Robben. Stubborn, emotional, unforgettable. He had one move, but it was so good it made him a legend. Philipp Lahm, the quiet captain. Lahm might be the most underrated great of his era, captain of Germany, leader of Bayern, versatile at every position, left back, right back, midfield. Wherever he played, he excelled. In 2017, he retired at just 33, while still world class. No injuries, no decline, no embarrassing last chapter. He simply said, enough. He left on his own terms, proving greatness doesn't always need drama. Sometimes the quiet ones roar the loudest. Frank Ribéry, the street fighter. Ribéry's story was pure grit. Scarred as a child in a car accident, mocked for his looks, he rose to become Bayern's warrior winger. Alongside Arjen Robben, he formed Robbery, one of football's deadliest duos. Together, they tore Europe apart, dragging Bayern to a treble in 2013. Ribéry didn't just dribble, he fought defenders, charging at them like a brawler with a ball. By 2022, his body gave up. Playing for Salernitana, injuries won. He retired in tears, but with respect everywhere. Beauty isn't skin deep. Ribéry's legacy is proof that fight beats glamour. David Silva El Mago. Manchester City's golden era started with David Silva. His vision, touch, and calmness built the foundation for Pep Guardiola's dynasty. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't loud, but he saw things nobody else did. Every pass, every touch, perfect. For 10 years, he ran City's midfield. When he left, even rivals admitted he changed English football. At Real Sociedad, he extended his career with class, but in 2023, a devastating ACL injury ended it. City have had De Bruyne, Haaland, Pep, but the real architect was always Silva. Andrea Barzagli, the Wall of Turin. Italy has produced great defenders. Barzagli doesn't always get mentioned, but he was the glue of Juventus's dynasty. Chiellini had the fire, Bonucci had the passing. Barzagli had the brains, positioning, anticipation, calmness. He made defending look like science. He retired in 2019 after 8 straight Serie A titles. Not flashy, not loud, just unbeatable. Every dynasty needs its quiet soldier. For Juve, that was Barzagli. Gonzalo Higuain, the nearly man. Higuain scored everywhere he went. Real Madrid, Napoli, Juventus. Hundreds of goals, records, and titles. But ask fans what they remember, and it's not the goals, it's the misses. The World Cup final in 2014. The Copa America finals. The moments when Argentina needed him most. He fluffed his lines, and the stigma stuck forever. In MLS, he found peace, finishing at Inter Miami in 2022. His farewell was emotional, raw, and tearful. Even his speech was honest. I gave everything, but sometimes it wasn't enough. He scored hundreds of goals, but one miss in a World Cup final haunted him forever.